Put your hands together for Christopher Blue!
Hello and welcome to Good Night with Christopher Blue. I'm Christopher Blue, and we have a wonderful show for you tonight. Tonight is Superhero Night, and we're going to be talking about a pretty serious topic. Well, let's get Reverb out here. Way in the back. Run! Thirsty? Yeah. Oh, is that a skull? Nice. Nice. Celebrating that spooky month. You came prepared with a lot of props, and I had no idea you were coming with, so this is funny.
Surprise. Surprise.
So, Reverb, we are talking about a topic that in our personal lives we've talked about often, which is superhero syndrome. Now, what we call superhero syndrome is a little different than what the rest of the world would call superhero syndrome, because typically when you do research on like superhero syndrome, you'll find things like savior complex or superhero complex, and it's not what we consider superhero syndrome isn't necessarily a narcissistic thing or the delusional belief that like we're the only ones who could save the world. But in your words, explain what we would mean when we say superhero syndrome.
Well, it's a lot like struggling. In the movies and everything, they set out to do something, and they get it done, and they generally feel like they've accomplished what they set out to do because they get some big city threatening issue and they solve the problem. But a lot of the problems we face are something we've discussed in previous episodes, right place, right time, and reality is that doesn't always happen. So we can be out there for 3 to 4 hours and help absolutely no one. And another issue is our homeless outreaches. And we've had this issue in the past where we've made 15 to 20 care packs, and we've walked around the city or 2 different cities for hours, and we'll hand out 8 or 9.
Yeah.
And we kind of feel discouraged because we couldn't find more people to help. We have all these care packs that could have gone to someone that desperately need them, but we couldn't find anyone.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because with my experience of what we call superhero syndrome, it almost goes to the other end of that, where we do all we can, but we feel like we should have been able to do more, or we could have done more.
That did not work.
You are ruining that wonderful shirt, man.
And you can get it in the links below.
That's right. Thank you. Finally, properly advertising that shirt. Yes, the merch store link is in the description down below. Which I really need to get the desk mugs so you don't have to be drinking out of a plastic skull. But anyway, so as I was saying, for me, superhero syndrome goes on the opposite end of the spectrum, where we were in Detroit, and we brought everything that we could. We had lots of food and clothes and stuff. And
are you talking about that one building that we were outside of, or another situation?
I believe I'm talking. I'm going to say it this way: the zombie horde.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So we got a tip of where some unhoused people were located, and we went to this place in Detroit, and it was overwhelming how many people that we ran into that needed help. And we quickly ran out of supplies, and we couldn't help everybody.
And it wasn't it was no small amount of supplies. We had, because I think we had about 6 to 8 people with us.
Yeah.
We had, I want to say, well over 20 to 30 care packs. We had coats, shoes, shirts, pants,
food, water. Yep.
Essentially an entire truck full.
Mm-hmm.
And, okay, not semi-trailer truck.
Right.
Just so no one gets confused. But still, something that big would only last people in Detroit one day. Right.
We did a lot of good that night, and but that night did change my perspective on a lot of things, because I walked away from that not being able to be happy for what we did, because I felt like we could have been doing so much more. And again, not the delusion that we have the ability to save everybody, but
the problem that we know that we can't save everybody.
Right. And so that's my take on superhero syndrome. Yours sounds a little different, where it's more about preparing to help a lot of people, but only being able to help out a small amount, which is interesting to me. So
it was it was actually something I was thinking about. I don't know if it was last time I was here or another, just something the past week or two, but I was remembering another time I was in Detroit. We had someone from Chicago come, and they have, I think they said just over $1,000 worth of gear, and they'd left it on a train on accident. But they were able to recover it. And yeah, we don't spend all this money on gear and supplies just to walk around with them to look cool. We've put a lot of money into these things to use them, and it's not so much like, oh, I didn't get to pull my batons out tonight, or I didn't get a chance to fire my pepper spray. No, it's, I have all these things and I know I can be using them, and I'm just never at the right situation to help someone with them.
Right.
And I mean, it's not so much I want to go out there and just enjoy beating on someone with them, but I just know they could be getting used.
Right. Okay. So that does bring it around to kind of what I was saying then. Just that sense that we could be doing more, and that, I mean, that's not easy. I've heard a lot of real life superheroes express the same thing, and I say, oh, superhero syndrome, and that's just kind of what we've come to call it. What are your tips for trying to get over that feeling? Because it's important to bring it up, but I think it's equally as important to share our knowledge at how we overcome that feeling of we should be doing more, we could be doing more.
It does suck, because you'll go out there ready to help, good dozen or more people, and you're only able to help 5, and sometimes you're only able to help 1 person, and you go back home and you're hard on yourself, and you're feeling a little upset because it was just 1 person. But you helped 1 person by going out that night, and that was more people that, if you would have stayed home and done nothing, that's, I'm trying to say, and it's just not coming out right. But that's 1 more person that you would have helped by not, if you had done nothing.
Right.
And you're thinking it's just 1 person. I didn't accomplish anything tonight. But that one person is incredibly grateful for just the smallest thing that you were able to give them.
Yeah. Something that helps me is just the reminder that, like, let's use your example of only being able to help one person. You know, that is more than what a lot of people are out there doing. Because if everyone was out there helping one person, no one would need help.
Exactly, yeah.
And so just remembering that if you are doing as much as you can, that is good enough. And the only reason that you might be feeling like it's not is probably because other people should probably be stepping up and doing their part to help people as well. So don't take that burden, because it will haunt you. And it's definitely not something I want to see anyone suffer from. So, anything else you want to say about superhero syndrome?
I think it's been pretty much covered.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. This has been our show. I'm saying my outro a little out of order. Until next time, good night, my sweet baby angels. I'll see you tomorrow.